Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we'll play that Rāma-Navamī Prabhupada audio. So we'll go for that. So today is the day for the Prabhupada audio. So I will start with Jaya Rāma-Navamī first, and then we'll go with the Prabhupada audio. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Rāma-Navamī Kunja Bihari Jaya Rāma-Navamī Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Usman
Yeah. Hare Krishna Kevalya Prabhu, can you do the Prema Dhani, Prabhuji? Dronacharya Prabhu.
Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakatarja Ashotara Shishimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakatarja Ashotara Shishimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki.
Jai.
Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki.
Jai.
ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki.
Jai.
Prams Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki.
Jai.
Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki.
Jai.
Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki.
Jai.
Jagannath Puri Dham Ki.
Jai.
Gangamaya Yamuna Mahi Ki.
Jai.
Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki.
Jai.
Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki.
Jai.
Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki.
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo.
Hari Bo.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Hari
Hari.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Chak Nirvishesha Shuddhavadi Paschatya Deshatal.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we have, Prabhupada audio will play, and that is on the Sri Rāma-Navamī. So Lord Ramacandra appearance day is coming on Sunday. So keeping that in mind, we will play the Prabhupada audio. Today is the Prabhupada audio listening day. So we'll go for the Sri Rāma-Navamī for the Lord Ramacandra appearance day. So we'll go for that. I will start this recording. Hare Krishna.
Glory to the Atman Lord. All glory to the Atman Lord. Jnanānya Salākaya Chakṣu Militāṃ Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mano Visyam Sthāpitam Jena Bhūtale Sang Rūpakadāmayam Dadāti Sapadāṃ Sugam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Gitapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavāṅsya Sri Rūpaṃ Sākrijatam Sahagana Raghunathaṇvitam Tvaṃ Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitancha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopis Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Vrikhabhanusate Devi Pranavan Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Ramadi Muttisu Kala Niyamena Tishthan Nana Avataram Akarat Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramakumanayo Govindavadi Purusham Tamahamulya. This is a verse from Brahma Samhita in which the incarnation of Lord Ramacandra is described. Rāma-Navamī, not only Rama, but there are many other innumerable incarnations. They are compared with the waves of a river. As the waves of the river or the waves of the ocean cannot be counted. Similarly, how many incarnations are there of the Supreme Lord? It is not possible to count. But out of them, the principal names are mentioned in the Shastras. Therefore it is said Rāma-Navamī. Rāma-Navamī means Rama and also other many incarnations. And they are existing, not that one incarnation appeared and it is finished. No, not like that. Just like Lord Ramacandra appeared on this planet, say, millions of years before, he appeared in the Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga means we have passed only 5,000 years of this age, Kali Yuga. Before that, there was Dapar Yuga. Dapar Yuga means 800,000 of years. And before that, there was Treta Yuga, which was continued for 1,200,000 of years. That means at least 2 million years before Lord Ramacandra appeared on this planet. So, now Lord Ramacandra appeared in Ajodha. There is a place in Ajodha, in northern India. There he appeared. And Krishna appeared in Mathura. that is also northern India. And Mathura is about 90 miles down southwards from New Delhi. You have heard the name of New Delhi, the capital of India. So Ajodhya is also situated about 500 miles northeast of New Delhi. So Lord Ramacandra appeared on this day. Today is called Rāma-Navamī. On the 9th day of the month, Lord Ramacandra appeared. His father was the king of Ajodhya, and he had 3 wives. So, out of, he had 2 wives. Out of 2 wives, he got 4 sons. Ramacandra is the eldest son. The life and activities of Lord Ramacandra is in a book which is called Rāma-Navamī. You have heard the name of Rāma-Navamī. Rāma-Navamī is also accepted as history. Vedic literatures, there are histories also. The Puranas, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharata and Ramayana, they are counted among the history. The history of Ramacandra is that his father wanted to retire, Maharaj Dasarath, and he decided to enthrone Lord Ramacandra and retire. So everything was settled. But just 1 day before, his youngest wife turned the whole thing into different ways. Sometimes Maharaj Dasarath was suffering from what is called whitlow, some trouble in the finger, and this queen served him very nicely, and he was pleased, and he said, my dear Sumitra, if you want some benediction from me, I can give you. And she replied that I shall ask you for the benediction when I require, not now. So just 1 day before Lord Ramachandra's coronation, she approached her husband, Maharaj Dasarath, and reminded him, my dear husband, you promised to give me some benediction, and I told you that I shall ask you when I require. Maharaj Dasarath said, yes, I remember. You want some benediction just now? She said, yes. And what is that? She said that Ramacandra cannot be seated on the throne. My son should be. Bharat. Oh, you are surprised. It's a big demand. So, he said, all right, that will be done. Your son, because formally the king, not only formally, even after that, there are many Kshatriya kings in India. They had more than one wife. And there naturally there is rivalry between different wives. So the same thing, human psychology is the same. Even 2 million years ago, the same mentality was there. And she asked that my son should be the king, not Ramacandra. Ramacandra happened to be the son of Kausalya, the elder queen. So Maharaj Dasara agreed and called for Ramacandra. My dear boy, she asked also, she was very diplomat. She wanted the Ramacandra go to forest for 14 years. The idea was political, that the king may agree to install my son just now. Now, after a few days, the Ramacandra may come with his army and there may be some difficulty to continue the kingdom. So she wanted the Ramacandra should go to the forest. And she should not come back till the end of 14 years from this day. So Maharaj Dasara agreed. Because you are Kshatriya, you see the promise. A Kshatriya never goes back from the promise. Never refuses any challenge. If a Kshatriya is challenged by somebody that I want to fight with you, he cannot refuse. This is Kshatriya spirit. He cannot say that I am now busy. Suppose somebody comes to you that I want to fight with you. You may say, what nonsense fight, I have no time. We are in the temple. But a Kshatriya cannot deny that. Kshatriya at once must accept, oh yes, come on. And the weapon should be, if he has no sword or weapon, he should be supplied weapon and fight. This is Kshatriya spirit. They were highly charitable and chivalrous and keeping promise and with a great tendency for ruling over. They can rule over. Administrator. Their business is, there are different prescriptions for different classes of men for their livelihood. The Brahmins, they can pull on their livelihood by 6 ways. Pathan, jajan, jajan, dana, pratigra. 6. And they must be qualified with 12 high qualities. We have many times discussed. Out of that qualification, truthfulness is the first item for a Brahmin. A Kshatriya may speak lies, that is allowed. because he has to be diplomat, politician. But a Brahmin, he is not allowed to speak like that. This is the system, caste system or varnashram system. Everyone was trained because these 4 classes of men are required in the society. For proper upkeep of society, one class of men must be very intelligent, highly qualified, with all good qualities. They must be trained in that way, idea, character, so that people can see and follow them. Therefore Brahmins are taken to so much respect because their ideal character, learned and godly, knows the science, spiritual science. Therefore they are held in high estimation and topmost of the society. The next, the administrator class, Kshatriya. They are trained how to kill. The Kshatriyas were allowed to hunt in the forest, to learn the art of killing, because that was necessary for the Kshatriyas. Kshatriya, if he finds somebody is doing wrong, he can immediately chop her his head if he likes. The king also passed. And it is not that if there was some war, it is not that the president or the king said, sit down comfortably at home and ordinary soldiers will go and lay down their life. No. Formally, the king or the head of the state, he should first of all go there in the fight. You see in the picture, the chief men of the fighting in the Kurukshetra, both sides, they are arrayed, this side, that side, with their chariot. Not that the head man, the chief man, or the commander is taking shelter backside, protecting himself, and poor soldiers are thrown into the fighting. No. This is what Kshatriya spirit. And it is necessary that a class of men should be trained up in that way. Kshatriya, fighting. In India, because this training was there since a very long time, so there is no difficulty in recruiting soldiers there. There is a class of men. They are very much forward, fighting. Still, they are called just like the Gurkhas, the Nepalis. You have heard the name of Nepal. Still, a small state, independent state. They are not within India, between China and India. The whole Nepal population, they are Kshatriyas. Oh, they are very good fighters. Similarly, the Sikhs, the Jats, there are classes. So they are always forward for fighting. And you will be surprised that the British Empire was voluntarily liquidated because they lost India. The Britishers, they understood that because we are now losing India, there is no more possibility to keep our Eastern Empire. Therefore they liquidated. Why? Actually, the whole British Empire were being administered or managed by Indian soldiers. these Sikhs and Gurkhas, they extended their empire. After taking their position in India, they extended British Empire in the Middle East and Far East simply by these Sikhs and Gurkha soldiers. They got supremacy on the Burma and everywhere. So there is necessity of a class of fighting men. You are finding in your country difficulty in recruiting because the recruiting process is wrong. We are recruiting from persons, you are training persons just like Sudras, and you want them to fight. How they can fight? It is not possible. So, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, that Chāti Varnam Maya System Guna Karma Vibhaga. Lord Krishna says that the 4 classes or orders of the society, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, is planned by me according to work and quality. So, this Kshatriya quality man is also required, the Brahman quality of man is also required, the mercantile style of community, they are also required, and laborer class, they are also required. Of course, laborer class, they do not require any training. Laborer class means one who cannot do anything, neither become Brahmin, nor become Kshatriya, nor become Vaishya. That means the last balance of the population, they are called laborer class, Shudra. Shudra means one who has no training. Shudra has no sanskar. Sanskar means training. Everyone is accepted as Shudra by birth. Janmana jayati Shudra. Janmana means by birth. By birth, everyone is born a Shudra, a 4th class man. It is to be accepted. And actually so, just like a child, innocent child, what does he know? He has to be trained. Either you train him as a Brahmin, or train him as a Kshatriya, or train him as a Vaishya, or otherwise he is Shudra, already born Shudra. Shudra has no training. Everyone, the basic principle, basic foreground, everyone it is accepted Shudra. Now if you train him as a Brahmin, then he becomes a Brahmin. If you train him as a Kshatriya, then he becomes a Kshatriya. If you train him as a Vaishya, so I think this system is very scientific. So that if you want a really help of a really intelligent man or God realized man, it is ready, the Brahmin class. Just like if you require the help of a lawyer, you have got so many lawyers. If you require the help of a medical man, because there are trained men. Similarly, the society requires to train a certain class of men to become Brahmin. Just like we are training the Krishna consciousness. The Krishna consciousness is meant for the Brahmins. They are not meant for fighting. because they are not being trained for fighting. They are being trained for becoming Brahmin. Who is Brahmin? Brahma Janati iti Brahman. The four divisions are described like this. Janmana Jayati Sudra. Everyone is born Sudra. That is accepted. Sanskarat Bhavidvija. Now, if you train him, never mind in which family he is born, you have to train, just like boys are sent into school for being trained. So, everyone is accepted as Shudra, but you now train him. He goes to the Guru Griha. Guru Griha means teacher's house. Formerly, for being trained, there was no such big-scale schools and colleges. Every village, still 50 years before in India, in every village, there was a small school conducted by the Brahmin, and the village children would be trained up there. So he was sent for training, and there was no school fee. The boys will go there and on behalf of the teacher or spiritual master, they will go, brahmachari, door to door and beg and bring forth alms, rice, dal, grains and everything. That was the system. There was no school fee. There was no problem how to send a boy to the school. So, the sanskara, now he is trained. The teacher sees the psychology of the boy, in which way he should be trained. Either he should be trained as a Vaishya, or he should be trained as a Kshatriya. So, everyone was trained like that. But generally, the son of a Kshatriya, just like Maharaj Ramacandra or Arjuna, from the very beginning, they were trained as Kshatriya. Naturally, if somebody is the son of a medical man, his father trains him to become a medical man in future. That is the natural tendency. If the boy is different altogether, that is another question. But naturally, that is the tendency. So, a Kshatriya's son was trained as Kshatriya, a Brahmin son was trained as a Brahmin, and a Vaishya's son was trained as a Vaishya, and Shudra had no training. So gradually, this became a caste system. Brahmin son became Brahmin. Because formerly, the training was there. But when it is vitiated, although a person born in the family of a Brahmin, he is doing the work of a Shudra. So, according to Vedic scripture, one is classified according to his work and quality, not by birth. That is the classification of Shastra, just like in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, the Chatur Varnamaya system, Guna Karma Vibhaga. Guna means quality, and Karma means work. One must be qualified for the work, and he must actually work. Then he is counted, classified into that category. Just like if you are simply trained or educated as a lawyer, and if you are not practicing in the court, nobody comes to you to consult as a lawyer. Nobody cares for you. You must be practicing also. Similarly, to become a Brahmin means, first of all, he must know what is Brahma, and he must be actually situated in the activities of Brahma. So, devotional service are activities of Brahma. Activities in Krishna consciousness means activities in Brahma. Brahma charati iti Brahma, brahmachari. Charati means acts. Actually, he acts in life, applies the principles of Brahman in his life. He is called brahmachari. So these were the training. So just see how the training was, that the Kshatriya cannot refuse his promise. So Maharaj Dasarath, he fulfilled the promise of his youngest wife and asked his son, eldest son, Ramacandra, my dear boy, you will have to go to forest for 14 years. That is the desire of your youngest mother. And I promise that I shall fulfill your promise, request. So please accept. Ramachandra said, yes, father, I am ready. Just see. This is the quality out of the 6 opulences of God. This is one quality. Vaishajyasya samagrasya bijasya jasasya jnana vairagyaschaiva sarayati bhava angana. How one becomes God? God is not manufactured by words. There are definitions. Who is God? God must be the proprietor of all riches. Vaishajyasya samagra. Samagra means all. Nobody can compete with him. Here in this world, material world, I am a rich man. And there is another rich man who can compete with him. And there is another rich man who can compete with him. But nobody can compete with God in richness. That is one qualification of God. Nobody can say that I am richer than God. You can say, I am richer than Ford or Rockefeller or this or that. You can say. But nobody can say that I am richer than God. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Matta parasara nanna tasri kinchit dhananjaya. Matta parasara nanna kinchit asti dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is the name of Arjuna. And Krishna says that, my dear Arjuna, there is nobody greater than me. So, if anyone claims that he is God, he must prove by practical example that nobody is richer than him. That is the first. But unfortunately, we are accepting so many gods. If a rascal in the street, he also claims that I am God. Similarly, the other qualification, nobody can be stronger than God. Nobody can be wiser than God. Nobody can be more beautiful than God. And nobody can be more renowned than God. So here, Ramacandra, Lord Ramacandra exhibited the quality, how he renounced the whole kingdom. Simply on the order of his father, his obedience to father. He could have argued with his father, my dear father, you simply for keeping your promise and actuated by the dictation of an woman, you are doing this catastrophe. Everyone is expecting that tomorrow my coronation will be there. And they love me so much because he is just like Krishna was so much loved. Similarly, Lord Ramachandra was the life of the people. They were very much expecting that Ramachandra was going to be enthroned tomorrow. How they are celebrating, how they are decorating the whole city, everything. He never argued. He accepted it. Yes, Father, I am ready. So, then his one of the brothers, Lakshman, he also requested Ramachandra, my dear brother, you also take me. I am your constant companion. I must go with you. So he said, that's your wish, voluntarily. If you want to come, you can come with me. Then Sita, his wife, young wife, she also said, I will go with you.
So, keeping time interest in mind, we'll stop here, and I will request Kavalla Prabhu to say something. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Kavalla Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So it was nice class by Srila Prabhupada, and he didn't go in much detail about Lord Ramachandra's, like how he spent life, because most of the people know, but he started with the Brahma Samhita Shlok and Rāma-Navamī. So he says that there are innumerable incarnations of Lord like Ram and etc. It's the many others, and nobody can count them because they are just like waves of the sea. So it's very hard to say how many incarnations. Lord all the time takes incarnation either on this planet or other planet. So it goes on. He never stops appearing in different places just to recapture the Jiva souls, bring them back. That is the Lord's purpose of incarnating. And he said that life and activities are actually described in the different Purans, like Ramayana. Prabhupada said that it is Srimad Bhagavatam, and there are Mahabharata, different Puranas, Ramayana. So there is, these are all the Vedic books, and we should learn from them. And he mostly went on to describe about the Varnashram system, He said more about Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, what is their duties and what is he's also mentioned that everyone is Shudra by their birth, and by training, later on he become Brahman or Shudra according to his tendencies, But later on, it goes on for many, many years, and later on it became a caste system in India, that was unfortunate actually, but this is due to training his tendencies, what he wants to be, like doctors. So if he's trained like a doctor, he will be doctor, profession, he will be trained as a businessman, he will be businessman like that, so it should be training, not by birth. And Prabhupada also said that Brahma Janati Brahmana, so Brahmans were duties, he should know what is Brahma and what is the devotional service, how to serve the Brahman, so, and like Kshatriyas, he said that cannot refuse to fight, they have to fight, and they have to save the population. And then at the last, he was telling about the different, like what is God actually, his Ishvara, like he's a controller. Control means he has to have all the 6 opulences of richness, strength, beauty, fame, knowledge, and renunciation. So that's what we heard by Sri Prabhupada, and it was good to hear one day before Rāma-Navamī, so we can meditate more on Rāma-Navamī and Lord Ramachandra's activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for comments. So, Any other comment from any other devotees? So you can raise the hand or you can unmute and you can tell. Else, Dhamacharya Prabhu, over to you if you have any announcement.
Hare Krishna. Just wanted to mention really quick that today we're going to have Sankirtan at Rittenhouse Square, 18th and Walnut Street, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock today. So I invite you all to come join us. We're going to be doing Kirtan. We'll have a book table of Srila Prabhupada's books. So our Sankirtan offering to Lord Ramachandra. And then tomorrow morning, we have a guest speaker for Rāma-Navamī, devotee by the name of Navina Nirada Prabhu. He's a Sankirtan devotee. He's going to be staying in Philadelphia for a couple of days. He's coming today. So he's senior, he's a well-known devotee in the movement, especially in the Sankirtan circles. So we're happy to have him. And then tomorrow evening, we have our Sunday Feast program, which will be celebrating Rāma-Navamī at that time. So I know the fasting for Rāma-Navamī, people do it differently. Some people fast till noon, some people fast until sunset. So there should be some fasting that is observed during that day. I guess there's some liberty that people can choose there. But tomorrow you should prepare for some fasting tomorrow. There will be a feast tomorrow night at the temple as normal for the Sunday feast. Thank you, Prabhu, for facilitating this. And thank you, Kaivalya Prabhu, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So we'll end the session. Vancha kalpataruvasya kripa sindhu bhagavatam
Namo Namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Binda ki jai. Shila
Jai.
Prabhupada.
Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai.
Jai.